All right, Danny, we are ready to go.
Um,
Kyle's not gonna be there.
do we have public comment tonight?
No.
No.
Okay, I should notice we had somebody.
Any public?
She's the presenter.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna call this meeting, May 23rd, 2024 of the Parks and Recreation Committee to order. Start off with approval of minutes from April 23rd, 2024.
Anybody?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Do we have a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
I
Thank you all.
All right, we'll move on to the staff report. Oh,
That's
what is
good.
happening?
All right. For the staff report, it was a short month, just about a month exactly. We had the Emerald Ridge Park and Playground update on May 7th. The Board of Aldermen approved the Parks and Recreation Committee's recommendation for the Athco Park and Playground design. Athco was made aware and they have begun scheduling the construction. I received an email this evening around 5 o'clock, just with some questions to answer. So I think it was mainly just to get the green light to get it going. So we'll do that right away and I'll keep giving you guys updates on what the schedule looks like, but I don't have a date yet. Special events. May was a busy month. There was a special event every weekend in May, which was a lot to go on. But we had the Volkswagen Car Show, Larson's Cause, the Humphrey Gravel Grinder, and over Memorial Weekend, Lakeside Bounce will be at Heritage Park on Saturday and Sunday with multiple bounce houses. And then Lake Fest is scheduled for June 14th and 15th. And then yep, and then we have a little bit of a break in there, and then special events kind of pick back up in September and beginning of October. And if you guys ever want to know about special events, the best place to look for that is going to be the Smithfield Chamber of Commerce. We send them any applications we approve, and then they put them on the community calendar. That way, everyone can go to one spot for more than just community events. It's anybody that's doing a fundraiser, sporting events, school events, things like that. If you have anything or want to know anything, they're the best place to look. That's kind of where the city management kind of wanted to push it that way. That way, it's kind of one central location. The Diamond Crest Splash Pad is scheduled to open up over Memorial Weekend, if not sooner. As of today, it was opened up. So we had a little bit of a hitch in the plan this morning, but everything was fixed later on in the morning and we got it going. So it should be exciting and busy weekend up there. There still is no update on the parking lot situation, but the restroom, we got an email yesterday that the restrooms are still waiting the drawings to be approved by the state. That should be done soon, but you'll start seeing probably some ground movement up there in the next 2 weeks. We've got that project scheduled to get all the pipes and plumbing situated there. And once the restroom is ready, it'd be ready to just be dropped and be open. So exciting stuff there.
Where's that bathroom getting put?
It's gonna be put, it's a little backwards, but the parking lot was supposed to be there first, and then it's gonna be put kind of behind on the east side of the parking lot, similar to if you were up at the dog park, how the parking lot goes into the park and then the bathroom sits right at the end. The reason why is the truck that brings the restroom has to be, they have to have basically a driveway to do it. They don't drive through natural ground or grass or anything like that. So we were hoping to put it inside the fence. Could be an option depending on where the road goes, but right now it's planned to go behind the parking lot. For the recreation report, spring soccer ended at the end of April. Successful season. We had great weather all the way through, and then baseball, softball games hit, and it's been terrible weather. So we have been rescheduling games here and there. It's basically by the day. We've been getting that in. As you see, numbers are up. Numbers are down in spring baseball. That was for one reason. Last year we had a U14 baseball and softball team. This year we didn't have enough. We barely had enough for softball. And we had enough for a full U14 baseball team, but the other towns that we partner with, Kearney and Platte City, both did not have enough. And then we reached out to Liberty Parks and Recreation, and they also didn't have a U14 rec team. So we really had nowhere to put them, and there was a pretty large age difference between them and the U12, so we had to just cancel that league and give them a refund, unfortunately. So I'm not sure where everyone's 14 and 13-year-olds are at, but they're not anywhere around us. So yeah. And then fall T-ball, we're looking good there. Fall T-ball just actually ended last Friday. So we moved on with that. And so fall sports will be opening up July 1, but the baseball softball season with the rainouts will be pushed basically almost to the end of July now. So we'll be just consistent with that. And then programs are starting up, and I know we won't meet in June or July, but check out our website because Parks and Rec Month has been advertised out there. A lot of free programs. If you're not familiar with the Parks and Recreation Month, that's put on by the National Association for Parks and Recreation, and just celebrate to recognize parks and everything that it does. And one thing to honor that, what we do is offer free programs at that time of year. It's a little break between sports. Obviously, a lot of families are on vacation around that time, but if you have time to get out there and enjoy those programs, it'd be worth it. And we do our best to go around the heat in July. And so we kind of do it early morning, and we added some stuff later in the evening this year. And then Alex, she's been kind of working hard with the campground and trying to add more fun there. So she's got food truck Saturdays started at the campground. She has a list there with some food trucks. So if you're even in the area, you're more welcome to go down there or contact me, and we can look at guys getting you a campsite to do some camping. So just let me know.
Speaking of the campground,
Yes.
can you look at, I know we talked about this before in the past, but opening reservations earlier
Yeah.
and to test run that next year, because I think we need to be open early in 26 for World Cup.
Yeah, we with two things on that. So Camp Host, great. They're gonna probably come back for another year.
Yeah.
That helps having that consistency in Camp Host to open up earlier. So we can probably run that out this year. And then each time we have a water leak in the campground, Chase has been putting frost-free hydrants in each site. We're probably about halfway through, but that's just progress. So we basically buy Lowe's and Home Depot out of frost-free faucets each time we go there. That way we always have them on stock.
And I don't want to, I mean, we don't need to open the campground itself early.
Yeah.
Just open the reservation system early.
Yeah.
So people are traveling, especially if we get a South America draw or a
Mm-hmm.
Central Europe draw, we want to make sure they can book it.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. We'll keep that in
6
mind.
weeks of craziness
Yeah,
coming
it's
soon.
fun. But Danny, that's what I have for the staff report. Let me know if you guys have any questions.
Thank you. I like the food truck thing. It's cool.
Yeah.
We have a Tree City USA presentation.
Yeah. Taylor Neff, she's with the Missouri Department of Conservation. She's joined us on Zoom, and she's provided us a presentation here that that we'll go through. If Taylor, if you want to check to make sure everything works on sound, we'll get started when you're ready.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Good. Good. Yep. All good.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me. Like you said, my name is Taylor Neff, and I am a community forester with the Missouri Department of Conservation for the Kansas City region. So I don't know if y'all have met Chuck Connor at all, but he was covering the whole region temporarily, but they hired me on almost 2 years ago. And I serve Platte, Clay, and half of Jackson County. So I'm your community forestry contact for the state. And I am here to introduce myself and then also to talk about Tree City USA. It's a program of the Arbor Day Foundation. It's been around for a long time, and it kind of does two things. It provides recognition for what you're already doing for your urban forest. And then it kind of provides a framework or some initial direction on improving your community forestry program. So this is kind of like the cookie cutter presentation that they actually offer. But I figured I won't recreate the wheel. So some of this won't be new information to you. I know y'all are planting trees in Smithville. Here, I'll give you the information and then we can talk about if it might be something you want to pursue. And yeah, I'm just a resource to help you build out any tree program that you try to do. So the first part of this is just talking about the value of trees. So yeah, value for infrastructure, benefits to community health, and honestly, yeah, just a great investment for a community, for business, for tax revenue, for attracting new residents to want to live there. There are a lot of health benefits to a healthy tree canopy, obviously. There are studies that show that if you're in a hospital bed and you can see a tree from your room, then you will your health will improve faster. There's studies that show that there's decreased sickness based on how many different types of species that children are exposed to. So diversity is a really important part too. That's the biggest issue that we have right now in our region, is that we haven't been planting diverse canopies. But also decreasing crime, easing stress and anxiety. Mental health is a huge piece of it. Whether we acknowledge it or not, it's happening. And then, yeah, increasing property value, obviously, which get mixed reviews on that benefit because people don't need more property tax increases, but good for selling, resale value. And then, yeah, people just, I need to take some pictures. You can see it if you drive by shopping areas on the weekends. You know, the streets with trees on them are just bustling with people when it's warm outside. And then energy reduction and savings. So this is saying that, let's see, what's the point here? 100 trees can remove, have the net cooling effect of 1,000 air conditioners. And then slowing stormwater runoff. And then, you can quantify all of these benefits too, through an iTree program. So if you have 100 trees over 40 years, this is like taking all of those benefits into consideration and saying what you're investing, and then the payoff of being $72,000, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you take everything into consideration that I just hit on, it's really important. So, but again, I know you probably know all of these things. This is just the beginning of the program. So this is why trees are important. The program itself, like I said, well, I'll try to stick to the slideshow here. So it can offer you direction and technical assistance. We don't have our logo on here, but like I said, the Department of Conservation facilitates the Tree City USA program for the state of Missouri. So I can help you with technical assistance, public attention, and national recognition. So it's just, like I said, kind of showing the community and showing people who might potentially want to live in Smithville that, like, hey, like, we really care about our natural spaces and the ecosystem and trees in our community. Just recognizing what you're already doing. Like I said, it's been around for a while, started in 1976. As far as our region goes, so like I said, I serve the city of Kansas City as far as Jackson County goes, and then I have Platte and Clay County, and we have 6 Tree City USAs currently. So it's Kansas City, North Kansas City, Parkville, Gladstone, Kearney, Liberty, and I think that's it. Was that 6? Yeah. So those are the ones that are currently now in our region as far as who I serve. Okay, and then benefits, like I said, like it's a recognition of what you're already doing, but it's also providing like goals on how you can build out a more robust community forestry program. And let's see, also, I don't know if it'll touch on this in benefits too, but we have a community forestry program here with the Missouri Department of Conservation, like in the Kansas City region. And it can help cover costs to do like tree inventories, tree maintenance, tree removals, tree planting, and some equipment, just as some examples, tree management plans. And if you are a Tree City USA, then the percent coverage that you have through our cost share increases by 25%. So Matt used this cost share to buy a water tank this year. So we were able to reimburse half of the cost of the water tank, 50%. But if you were a Tree City USA, then that would be increased to 75% reimbursement for any of those type of projects that you would want to do. So that's another benefit locally. All right, and then yeah, education, technical advice, you can kind of skim through some of this. Public image, I already touched on that. Citizen pride, I think that's a really big piece of it. I have met some people from Smithville. I know Matt was saying you have an involved Girl Scout group that's doing a lot of planting. And then our partner down here, Heartland Tree Alliance. I know they went and did a program with a homeschool group recently and gave them some tree seedlings. And so, yeah, the most successful programs have a really good community involvement, and I'm happy to talk to you more about how that could look too. Publicity. So for most of these tree cities that we have, they'll have an Arbor Day celebration, and the mayor will speak, and I'll go and speak if they want me to, and just highlighting for the community, like we're caring about our trees, that recognition, reinforcing that with residents too, so they'll be encouraged to care for their trees. Cool. So now we'll get into the standards, which is, like I'm saying, a framework to help build out your community forestry program. So the first part is a tree board or department. We'll get into the details quickly on each of these. Tree care ordinance, and then the community forestry program has an annual budget of at least $2 per capita. So I think that would be like $20,000, I believe, for y'all. And then the Arbor Day program. So that can be like planting of a tree at a school is typically what that looks like. So the tree border department, it can be simply like having someone designated to care for the trees. So it doesn't necessarily need to be like an FTE that's a forester, but it could be like someone in the parks department who is like, this person is responsible. So designating responsibility for stewardship of the trees in the city. The tree care ordinance gives just guidance on how trees. Also, please interrupt me if you have any questions.
Will do. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I guess next slide. But the tree care ordinance. Yeah. So there's a range of tree care. Okay. So I said there were 6 cities that are Tree City USA in our area, and there is such a range of what the tree board looks like, or if they just have a forestry contact. There's a huge range in how everyone is doing it. Like Liberty is probably the most robust program where they actually have an active, dedicated tree board. And they have one of the best tree ordinances too. Because a tree ordinance, it could say like, it could just say the city is responsible for trees in the right of way, and residents are responsible for XYZ, but the city's responsible for XYZ as far as public trees go, or right of way trees. At the extreme end, you see an ordinance that is a tree preservation ordinance, And it's saying as developers remove trees to put in new housing developments, they pay into a tree fund and that money goes back to tree planting. And that obviously helps build out your budget for the next standard, which is spending $2 per capita. If you want to go to the next slide on tree care. So that can include a lot of things, though. There's like a whole worksheet on how you can lay out the expenses. So staff time dedicated to watering, planting, all of these things, Arbor Day expensive, the cost of trees, things like that. So I've talked to Matt about it a little bit, and it seems like you guys are perhaps at the point where you would have to find a revenue generator in order to build up a budget as one of the first things. So,
Yeah.
And then value of volunteer labor, though, you could definitely utilize that. Sounds like, all right. And then Arbor Day observance and proclamation. That's the easy part. That is Arbor Days in April every year. We've got the National Arbor Day and then the specific Missouri Arbor Day, and it doesn't even need to be on Arbor Day. And that usually looks like planting a tree in a public space and just celebrating trees and highlighting that for the community. So that is basically it. The steps would be to meet the 4 standards and then to submit an application, which is pretty easy. So this would be kind of like a long-term goal. And I just wanted to let y'all know about it and see what you think and see what comes to mind for you.
Yeah, and so before Taylor leaves, I'll kind of give a background. So we've been working on it. The one thing that is kind of slowing the pace is the $2 per capita. So it's about $21,000 to $22,000. And without having like the full, as she mentioned, like the steps that go into it of like the volunteer time, the cost of that stuff, all that adds up. But it's hard to, without those details knowing right now, it's hard to just go to the Board of Aldermen and ask for another $22,000 for Parks and Recreation for tree services without any community backing or board backing or committee backing and things like that. So that's kind of what we've been working on.
How much was your water tank?
The water tank, we spent about 1,200, so it's about just a little over 22.
That's the reimbursed, or we got 600 reimbursed, or we got?
We got 1,200 reimbursed.
Okay, so we would
Yeah.
have had it saved another $600 if we were.
Yeah.
Tree City.
Yeah.
And those projects, like in the future, they're up to $49,000 per city per year.
So would that help with, like, when we're doing trail amenities and things like that, to help with the trees, watering? I mean, like,
All the time, yeah,
Diamond Crest, we're not gonna have.
yeah. All the
You're
time
gonna
you
have to get
put
that
into
kind
it,
of-
you would track by how much money that was worth, and that's what you would have to keep like that separate budget
Right.
of how much that time was. So if Chase went out and watered all the trees and flowers that day, and how long did that take? He does that daily. You know, we could put that into a spreadsheet, and that's what we kind of try to offset as much as possible that $22,000 in some way.
Well, long term, we're
Yeah.
talking Heritage Park when we finish
Yeah,
Heritage Park.
yeah.
We planned on during the master plan doing a load of trees in that park.
Yep.
So I feel like long term, it would be a really good thing to have because like that'd be really beneficial for us.
And what's interesting is, as she mentioned, those 6 cities that are Tree City USAs, most of them are going on their 20th year.
Yeah,
And so we're a little behind the 8 ball on.
Typical
So
next
it's not your
year,
fault.
maybe.
It's not your fault.
No, and it's not that. It was, you know, the money back then would have been a little easier to get for Smithville. Then you're into it and you don't want to leave that as you do the dedications and the celebrations and things like that. But it's going to be a lot up front for us now. But if that's something you guys are interested in, we definitely need to have a more in-depth conversation of if we want to recommend this to the Board of Aldermen. Obviously, we're in budget season now, and the fiscal year 25 budget wouldn't be approved until mid-October, but the conversation would need to get started internally with staff and administration.
Taylor, did you say there was a cap on yearly reimbursement? And what was that number?
So it's separate from what he's talking about with the $2 per capita per year requirement to be Tree
Right.
City USA. For our cost share for your urban forestry projects, the maximum is 49,000.
Per
Is
year.
what you can request. I have to take it to a team and like we have to approve the project, but
Yeah.
that's the maximum allocation. And so you could potentially, if you were Tree City, be 75% of that would be
Gotcha.
covered. And it's specific practices, so tree
Yeah.
planting, tree pruning, stuff like that, ash management. So like if you're treating any ash trees.
Yeah.
And then tree inventories, which, so if you're gonna do management and you're gonna prune trees, most often it's tree inventory.
What
First.
about removing invasives?
Right now it is only if they are critical risk trees. So if they're like a calorie pair that has a defect, then we can do removals if they're critical risks, no matter the species. That like invasiveness, removing invasive trees is like something we're talking about internally, but it's not listed as a fundable practice yet.
So many Bradford pears.
Mhm.
It is on private property. It's just not the same program.
Yeah, and
Oh, we have
I kind of missed a little bit of the background too. So Taylor mentioned we've been working with the Girl Scout troop. We've been working with them over the past four
I think I
years now.
started that 5 years ago.
5 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
And so they've been planting trees, but the
Growth-
struggle is that all the parks, there's no just like water source at these parks. And so we want to plant more and we want to plant more in areas, but we have no way to water them and keep them alive. So that's why we kind of worked with Taylor to get the watering system trailer basically. That way we could go down and water those and start planting more trees and just, in our wide open areas. I mean, you've seen Smith's Fork. I mean, it's just wide open. If we could plant more trees and,
Yep.
add more shade, the best time to plant a tree is now. So.
Yeah, I feel
I'll
like
also say that that same funding source that I'm talking about, the cost share, is also can be utilized to do native forb and grass establishment, which is something that cities are trying to move towards. So if you have an area, rather than doing just turf grass, doing some native like wildflower plantings, it can be utilized for that too.
I think that's kind of aligns with a little bit of your guys's past recommendations of, natural wildflowers, planting more trees, working with these Girl Scout troops. So definitely wanted to bring the conversation to you guys. So if there is ever a recommendation you guys want to speak about.
Another question.
Yeah.
With the 6 cities around us, you said they kind of vary in terms of how they run their programs, or maybe all their programs just look different. But does their meeting the $2 per capita, is that a wide range? Does each city do it differently in terms of what they actually budget? Do you know the answer to that?
I can send, well, Matt, I think Matt might have it, but they throw in, well, it does vary so much.
Okay.
But you
I,
said
I spoke with
believe-
Tom Garland and we
Yeah.
had a phone conversation. But I need to look back at my notes and figure out, they were only around like, after all said and done, it's basically almost like $10,000 in their budget. And that's Liberty. So that means they're really doing a lot of work to offset that number.
with their developer cost stuff.
Yeah.
Cause you.
Did that include
Parks funds
curious?
off of- So you get
Curious
parks funds off of
better.
each new house
Mhm.
or residential unit, right? It's 6.25. So I mean, we could also look at what that fee looks like going forward.
Mhm. Any other questions for Taylor? All right. Well, thanks, Taylor, and I'll make sure to reach out to Tom again and get some more details. But I know you sent me an ordinance, so I can also share that with them to show them what it looks like as well. So
Okay, cool. And also I'll say, if any of you are ever working on tree planting projects and you want to consult about species selection, let me know.
and can you apply at any time to be a Tree City USA, or is there like
It's due at the end of the year.
due at
like
the end of the
December
year? It would
31st.
start. When does it start as far as budget for the capita?
Oh, I think that just depends on your fiscal year and how you have it
Okay.
set up. You just have to say for each fiscal year we spend this
Okay.
amount
So,
and submit that in December.
okay. All right.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah,
Taylor.
yeah, thank you all.
Alrighty. Anyone have any other comments on that before we move on?
Do we need to officially tell you to keep pursuing it?
Yes. Should make a motion.
Make a motion to keep pursuing becoming a Tree City USA.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion?
Yeah. I'll keep you guys updated. Obviously, we don't meet in June or July, but I think I'll keep sending you information and we can have those discussions. So,
Got to retreat in a couple weeks.
yeah, that's a great point. I can bring that up too.
I feel
Yeah.
like between the Riverwalk and Heritage and what we're trying to do up by Diamond Crest with the trail, like it would just make sense to offset 75% of that cost.
And I mean, just how much
Love to see
how
what
much
the
trees
numbers on
are.
that.
Trees
They're
are
expensive.
expensive.
Yeah,
Right.
if we can get a discount for the
like,
Girl
I feel like
Scouts,
Yeah.
Through those three projects, we could cap that 49,000 out every year for a little bit and get
how many trees did they do for Diamond Crest with the shade stuff?
They did 6. So they planted,
$200 a piece, probably.
yeah, they planted 2 maples and 5 or 2 maples and 4 dogwoods.
what was the cost there?
I'm actually not sure.
They use a Girl Scout, they use
Yeah.
their cookie money for it, so
Right.
it cost me a lot of money. It probably cost you a little
I
bit.
bought a lot of cookies, so.
I bought cookies, yeah.
I bought some cookies.
Yeah.
I mean, when I bought when we did Wildflower 6 years ago and I bought the White Pines, those were $160 a piece.
Yeah, those were 4 4 trees up there.
Yeah, that's
And
6 years ago
I feel
dollars.
like between purchasing, planting, caring for those first couple of years when they have to be watered regularly, like we could cap that out.
Yeah.
And to me, that's cost effective for that $20,000.
I did
So-
ask her previously if this board would cover as a Tree City board, but it doesn't. There would need to be a specific.
Saying you could just do one staff member.
Yeah, you
Hey,
could.
Matt,
Yeah.
that'll be the tree guy.
I would
Can we call him
Yeah.
the
do that
Lorax?
instead of another board.
You might also.
agree.
could
We
it-
call it the
Does it
Lorax.
have to be a staff member or could it be
No,
one of
it
the
could be,
board members?
it could be anybody.
We appoint you the Lorax.
Yeah.
You're the key-
Sorry, I feel creepy, but I was just looking.
She's still there.
Yeah,
I was looking something up before I left. This board would suffice as your tree board.
Okay.
Wow.
I would
Sweet.
just
Dang it.
say in addition, you would want to
And-
choose someone who was like identified as your forester. Quote forester.
You'll
And
get some-
then what I was looking up was woody invasive species removal does qualify for that same funding pool. So
Nice.
Nice.
tired of
now
this.
I'm actually gonna leave. Thank you.
Hang out as
Thank
long
you,
as you want.
Taylor.
It's
Yeah.
it's a fun
Bye.
meeting, fun board.
So,
It's parks.
yeah,
We're allowed to
about-
have fun.
We
It's
have
parks.
a tree board in Liberty and every time they're like, well, what'd they talk about? They want to plant more trees. And I'm like, it's
Imagine
just
that. Yeah.
another board, but I'm sure at the time
Yeah.
that they got on tree board
Yeah.
or Tree City, they had to have one. So
Yeah.
it's nice to hear that they're
Yeah.
willing to change requirements a little bit.
Yeah.
to-
Yeah, I feel like not doing it would be missing out on a lot, so be great.
Okay. I'll start the conversation.
Tree board. Boards come from
Anything
trees.
else on Tree City USA? All right, we do not have public comment tonight, or we're open for it, but I don't think we have any. New business?
Want to talk more about
you.
the trail? Yeah, stuff you sent
Yeah.
me. Or just-
Yeah, I don't know.
I love new business when they're like, what? I got,
Yeah,
I didn't realize I was bringing that up
you're good.
tonight, but
Keep it going.
bring it up in 3 months, it's fine.
Yeah.
well, and I shared some information in our February meeting, so it's been a while.
Mhm.
But there's an organization called the International Mountain Biking Association. They offer what they call a trail accelerator grant that they'll be opening up applications for in June, I believe, if they go by their schedule from last year. And so basically what it sounds like they'll do is they'll match some funds up to like a certain amount, up to like $15,000 or something. So if we can come up with some funds to build a trail out, where I'm thinking is Smiths Fork Park, where there already are trails that could just, improve some of the existing trails out there, make them more bike friendly and things like that. And so that's kind of what I'm hoping to help lead us through, like through an application process, we can do that. And just start small, start with something just to kind of show what can be done. A lot of other cities have done bigger cities have done stuff like this. Like, the examples you always see is Bentonville, Arkansas, they have tons of money and stuff for that. But
St. Joe, just
St. Joe is a
yeah,
great example.
closest one. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they've invested in a lot of those trails, and I'm an avid mountain biker. I like mountain biking, so for me, it's something that I want for the community, but I'd like to get more of the community into that too.
So Ben and I have set up a meeting to go over that grant, to go over just the qualifications. It may be something where we start now and start meeting the qualifications and be ready for next year. We just don't know yet, so we're going to look into that. And Damien and I have met many times over my time here of looking at Smiths Fork Lake Remote trails and what we could do. We've met with different people, different organizations, and it all comes down to money. I mean, it's money, and it's got to be a priority by either this committee or the Board of Aldermen. And so it's going to take comments and those kind of conversations that happen to make it worth. So
Yeah, and the grant you're talking about is the in-kind labor that they provide. It's not a cash thing. And the amount, and Matt, you guys can dig into it more, is above Matt's spending authority without
Yeah.
having to go out to bid. So that makes it difficult because then we have to say we're gonna put the money out there. But I mean, it would be a lot less resistance if we had a nonprofit that we could work with that would apply for the grant and have their own funding. So maybe we'll figure that out.
we'll keep, yep. So we may bring that forward in our next August one, or
Because
depending on how
from
the
this
conversation goes.
from this board, it might just be like recommending an MOU with the nonprofit to do the trails like they've done with Clay County.
Yeah.
And then the nonprofit can apply for those kind of things and
Yeah.
control their own budget.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we'll hopefully bring some more information forward with that. So
How much do mountain bike trails cost?
not much. Depends on what you do. $0 to $1 bazillion.
There's
Yeah.
kind of a trail at Lake
Uh,
Remote already,
Benton-
so would it just be like making it appropriate for mountain bike?
So for
purposes? Is there
me,
Signage?
well,
or-
there's a couple of things. So like Lake Remote is the classic example of 1990s mountain bike trails. They're not groomed, they're roots, they're rocks. I like it. They're narrow. But the standard today is more of a groomed trail. We had it started down some design with the guys that
Mhm.
did St. Joe. I mean, if you look at Bentonville, they spend 30 million a year on trails, but they also have the Walton family there that mountain bikes.
That's where I tore this ACL, so
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're.
St. Joe spent 5 million
Yeah,
on theirs.
for their gravity park.
Wow.
But I mean, as an economic driver, the thing is too, like the trails in Clay County, the group that manages those, they've been doing it for a really long time. I've got a lot of respect for what they do. They divert it when there's like, water on the trail. They'll figure out a new path to not keep water there, but they're not super accessible. Some of them are a little tough. So, it depends on what we want to build. If we want to build something that anybody can just come in and, like we looked at originally starting like up towards right across from the dog park and have it kind of roll down towards the river, then don't have to be as fit to run through those. They don't like having e-bikes out of Smoking Davy because it tears up the trails, according to some folks. I argue that me on a mountain bike's more heavy than him on an e-bike, but whatever. So there's pluses and benefits or minuses to all of it. So it just depends on what we want to do and what we want people to come to the community for. So.
Yeah.
And I think that
Davey not good enough? What's the issue with that?
Yeah.
could I?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I'll say, I've lived
Defend
in
Tim.
I've lived in Clay County for 20 plus years and used to ride out at Smoking Davy when I lived in North Kansas City, and I would come up here, but I never stopped in Smithville. And so I think a lot of people, they go up to those trails, but they're not really stopping anywhere. And I've heard a lot of people wanted to increase the tourism dollars here. I think that park is more centrally located in town where people kind of have to go through town to get there. I think there's opportunities. You could have businesses sponsor a trail, if you check in at this trail or something, get 15% off on your meal at Chops or something, like something like that. I think there's some opportunities to do that to incentivize people spending money in town too.
And once we have Riverwalk, we're halfway there to being able to mountain bike from downtown to Smiths Fork too. So
That's cool. Yep. So TBD. Talk more later.
cool.
I love talking tourism dollars, so that's great.
Mhm.
The next thing on the agenda is special presentation.
What about any other new business?
Oh yeah, any other new business? Sorry.
There's a special presentation on the thing.
Yeah,
Didn't realize that. That's not me, is it?
Yeah,
that's for Danny.
it's the embarrassed Danny.
Danny, you wanna
That was
make it
unnecessary.
official?
I am resigning as of this evening. We're moving out of town.
Like
on Saturday.
next week, but
Yeah.
it's your last meeting.
I was glad we had this meeting because the last meeting was my last meeting and now
Yeah.
it's like, hold on to that resignation. I'll come do one more.
Yeah.
So
So Damien,
I
you
wanted to
wanna
see the playground.
read the
done.
proclamation
You want me
for
to read the
us?
whole thing?
Yeah, read the whole thing.
Matt,
There's a what?
it's even got a picture of your park.
I didn't take that picture.
No, but it's like a rendering. isn't it?
Nice.
Recognition of community leadership honoring Danny Wilson. Why don't we put Danny? I mean, it's fine, whatever. Oh, Danny, you good with that? Okay.
I'm fine with it.
Whereas Danny is a respected, and maybe we should edit, hang on. Danny is a respected local photography owner of Reason to Smile who actively volunteers in the Smithville community. And whereas Danny has volunteered many hours supporting Smithville Parks and Rec, she started the Courtyard Movie Nights, advocated for the Smithville Dog Park, and took website and social media photos. And whereas Danny has served as chair of Parks and Rec Committee since 2018 and has contributed to multiple park improvement projects, including the 2021 Parks and Rec Master Plan. We don't acknowledge the little spot when Allison was the chair. It was just short.
Oh, Allison,
No, she's fine.
it was like a month.
Yeah. Danny is an active member of local groups, including the Community Action Committee in Smithville. The committee promotes community and quality of life through public events and programs. And whereas Danny is a dedicated leader and role model in our community, and whereas Danny has shown exceptional leadership and is dedicated to developing the Parks and Rec for the Smithville community, and now therefore I, Damian Boley, by the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Smithville, do hereby present Danny Wilson with the key to the city. It is not a key to any lock, but is a true key to the hearts of the community members in Smithville, presented today.
That's really cool.
You can get a gold chain to wear it on too.
Yeah, heck yeah. I'm gonna wear this on a gold chain. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, stand up. Oh, look, I wore my park shirt. You gonna shake my hand?
We'll do this way.
You gonna do that? That sounds
Do
great.
This.
And I will do this. Thanks.
She'll edit your
Cool.
photos later.
Thanks, Danny.
Yeah, you can send it to me. I'll edit it.
Sorry, not to be nothing around, we got any questions, so.
I know, that's good. Thank you, guys.
It's
Yeah.
official, you actually have a key to the city property.
So, what will this get me in the city if I walk into different?
You're allowed to come back, you're allowed to come back.
It's nice.
Yeah.
I will. Can I?
Alright, Go for it.
Okay, so Parks Committee has been a big part of my life since 2018. Apparently, I didn't realize it had been that long.
There for 6
And
years,
so I know, but still, it's been a long time. We've done a lot of stuff. I feel like we've learned a ton as a committee, and I think you and I and you, the three of us have been here since the beginning, and we've seen a lot of things and talked to a lot of people and done a lot of stuff. So thank you guys for having me, and I'll still be in town. So, and I'll still be checking in, but thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Matt wanted to get you like a gift card or something, so,
No, this is way better.
I mean, we can still get you like a Scooters gift card.
I think Leah might revolt. She'd be like, you know what? I resigned too. Okay.
Yeah, so next meeting, we'll be doing some nominations and we may have a new member as well because we need to look to fill the board. We have a few applications that are out there. We were just a full committee, so we kind of put them in the wait list. So more to
Can you
come.
make
if you-
sure that Haley gets the Robert Rules of Order book so she can study, because she will be chair, right?
We got it'd be a nomination.
You'll be running the next. Well,
no,
you'll have to
she's-
run.
Oh,
it
yeah,
she's
'cause you're-
assistant.
Until, I mean,
you're right.
we just re-nominated him, or no, we normally do elections in May, so we just held off because of that, so, yeah. Oh, be careful. We've made the student the chair before.
Yep.
That's why Allison was chair for like a month before her end of her term. You might have to run this meeting for the next 2
It's good
years.
experience. And honestly, no one here is gonna bite you. So, yeah, nobody comes for public comment usually. It's pretty chill.
Your
so.
dad will show up to public comment if you're the chair, I
I'll show up to
guarantee you.
public comment.
All right, well,
Motion to adjourn.
yep.
Can I motion to adjourn or is this, oh, I'm out. We're done. Bye, guys. It's all you.
No, you're
No.
so fine.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, okay. We're ready to adjourn. Do I have a motion
Motion to adjourn.
and a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks. See you guys.
You should have got the gavel for your last one.